If you're looking for a budget phone with shoulder triggers, then this might be the one for you. This is the Nubia Neo 3 5G. This is the follow-up to the Nubia Neo 2, which came out last year. We felt that it really had good potential because it is the only one that can offer hardware shoulder triggers for a very affordable price tag. So with the Nubia Neo 3, you also get two shoulder triggers, the left and the right. You also have this LED light strip, which adds to the coolness factor. And I know you guys who are gamers out there, you love your RGB. These are the different lighting scenarios where the light strip is gonna come into play, but the focus of this video is gonna be on the gaming performance. So let's go and check out the system specifications. As you can see over here, we got 8 gigs of memory and 256 gigabytes of storage. This is the 5G edition, which retails for 9,999 pesos. There's a 4G edition, which retails for 7,999 pesos, but that only comes with 128 gigs of internal storage. But if you want more, there is a GT variant. That's a Nubia Neo 3 GT edition, which comes with 12 gigs of memory and 256 gigabytes of storage. It runs on the Unisoc T8300, which is an octa-core CPU with maximum clock speeds of 2.2 gigahertz. Screen resolution is only 2030 by 900. You can see one of the reasons why is because of this thick chin. Here you can see that we're running LPDDR4X memory modules. Storage is already UFS. Camera, of course, there's a 50 megapixel main camera as well as a 16 megapixel selfie camera. But check out that battery capacity. We're getting 6,000 milliamp hours of battery. Then for Wi-Fi, this phone supports the 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz band. There is no Wi-Fi 6 support, unfortunately, but that's okay. This is, after all, a budget device. Now for its gaming features, you're gonna want to go to game space. So from this page, you can set the individual settings. So for example, in Genshin Impact, you might want to set that to run on performance mode, which is Rise. That's the highest performance setting. Then Wi-Fi low latency, it doesn't really matter. You can turn that on or off. Then you can also set the video recording quality. You can set that for each game. It's going to create a different profile. You can disable pop-ups. And for notifications, you can make it scroll at the top of your screen. You can see that notification or that scrolling message at the top of the screen. Here's another demo. From here, you can also control the speed and font size. Let's say you want to make it bigger or you want to increase the number of characters. You can also change the opacity. So it is very configurable. Now let's go to anti-touch, which is something that might be useful if you want to prevent unwanted touches or false touches at the corners and edges of the screen. Next, you have the atmosphere LED option. Then from here, you can change your LED effect. You can enable sound. You can make it steady or you can make it breathe. So this is the breathing option. This now is the lamp with sound. You can change the wallpaper. Then there are also a bunch of other options. So from here, you're gonna want to make sure your game is added to game space because this will enable the in-game display, which you can access by swiping twice. Look at that. I know it's a little busy, but this allows you to quickly access the different options, game enhancement features. Let's begin with Genshin Impact. Setting our resolution and display options to the highest setting. Okay, so with the game running on the highest graphics setting, we're only getting around 16 to 20 FPS. Yeah, so that's not good enough. So we're gonna bring the graphics down to lowest. And with the graphics on lowest, we're now pulling above 40 FPS. Here I'm gonna try to configure a macro. Let's say I wanted to automatically do stuff. So every time I tap that button, I can set the interval to 0. So it's gonna continuously move in the direction that I set in the macro. Okay, let's see if I can create like an auto loot script. Let's go to AI triggers. Let's enable that. Screen detection by image. So I wanted to do something every time it detects something like that on the screen. Let's set accuracy to, yeah, let's set it to 60, minimum interval 2, and when it sees that, I want it to tap right here. Let's save it. Let's enable the trigger. All right, so of course it's gonna work there. Let's see if we can trigger it again. Haha. All right, so it works. Alright, we are now in Mobile Legends. Graphics on ultra, frame rate on high. Let's go.
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield.
We're doing 60 FPS.
All troops deployed.
Very nice.
Hellfire, enliven Higamba.
Okay, I'm gonna try to map the left shoulder trigger to flicker and the right shoulder trigger to inspire. Let's see. Okay, left trigger works. Inspire. Yep, it works, guys. Except we died. Alright, let me see which hunt option works best for Mobile Legends. I think Eagle Eye would be the best option here. Looks like shit though. So these two options, ML and M-Radio, weren't there in Genshin Impact, but they're here in Mobile Legends. But first, we need to defend our tower. Screen extraction. Okay, let's say I wanna...
Heading back to gear up.
Oh, interesting. So that's how it works. Now we're in PUBG Mobile. Do we get any extra features? No, we don't get ML. And as you can see, the color of the heads-up display changes depending on the performance mode. So we're gonna set it to Rise, which is red. Alright, so we are currently in PUBG. Graphics. Let's customize it. So the highest that we can get is HD graphics and high frame rate. Of course, gyroscope is supported. Check out the sensitivity. And I have mapped the right button to my zoom in. And the left trigger to fire. So I mapped the right trigger to dual operation. I wanted it to zoom in and fire at the same time, but now I just want it to zoom in. Let's test it out. Zoom in, zoom out. All right. And as you can see, we don't really have a crosshair when we are zoomed in, and that is where the crosshair feature is gonna come in handy. Let's enable that right now. All right, so we finally have a crosshair while we are zoomed in. Alright, so for our next game, it's CarX Street Racing. I'm now pumping graphics all the way to highest. Check out our frame rate monitor, and we are doing 10 FPS. And you can see that I map the right trigger to accelerate, left trigger I map to decelerate. But it's just really slow and unplayable. So now we're gonna bring graphics down to lowest. Motion blur off, anti-aliasing off, smoke off as well. We're now seeing an improvement up to 20 FPS. Can we get more frames? Alright, now the frame rates are more stable at above 20 FPS. Now we're doing 25 FPS. So it really depends on what part of the map you're on. Let's just try to do a reverse using the trigger, which is something that's much easier to do than if you were controlling the game used by tapping on the screen. Live FPS, 28 FPS. Wow. Okay. And now we're hitting 31 FPS in CarX Street, guys. Ooh. Okay, so we've been playing for over an hour, and I'm seeing temperature readings of above 46 degrees Celsius, 46.8, 47. Over to the rear panel, we're getting 48 degrees Celsius, almost 49 degrees, 48.7. Then from here, you can appreciate the nice design and the aesthetic of the Nubia Neo 3 5G. This is the Cyber Silver colorway. Of course, you have the LED light strip. It's currently set to red on cycle mode, and it just brings the phone to life. You have the nice Gundam robotic transformer-ish aesthetic on the back, and I know you guys love your RGB. Before we end this video, here are a few benchmarks. In Passmark, we managed to score 5,529 points. Then take a look at the disc test results, 66,179. That's not realistic, and that's why you have a exclamation point. And the reason for this is caching can affect our performance score. You look at the external storage read, which goes all the way to 394,000 megabytes per second. That's not even real. So let's go to Antutu, 474,568 points. Then in PC Mark, we managed to score 14,662 points. Then for our thermal throttling test, it seems that this phone takes a massive hit. And as you can see, it goes down all the way to 58%. So that's a performance drop of over 40%. But the internal thermals stay stable at 40 degrees Celsius. Then for the battery life benchmark, we managed to pull almost 14 hours on the Nubia Neo 35G with its 6,000 milliamp hours of internal battery running on Wi-Fi. So guys, what do you think about the Nubia Neo 35G? Let us know in the comment section. And for more content like this, head over to YouTube and subscribe to Tech Kuya, and we'll see you guys there.